All right, everyone, welcome back to the Land of Chem. I'm your host and the author. My name is Jeffrey Drum. Thank you all so much for joining me again. All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, we will be exploring two interconnected structures whose functions are critical to understanding the lightning and atmospheric fertilization technology of the ancient Japanese Jomon civilization, and a full explanation detailing the integrated operation of these two sites will be coming up soon in a massive research revelation episode. This is Sunday Site Visit 78, the Oyu Stone Circles, and the artificial pyramid mountain, Kuromanta. If this is the type of content you're interested in regarding the ancient technology of a lost civilization, utilizing physics and chemistry, and the function of the Egyptian pyramids and other ancient structures from across the world, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, share, and stay tuned. If you want to help support this channel and get access to exclusive research and unreleased footage that you will not see anywhere else, check out the Land of Chem members only channel and thelandofchem.com. If you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch, links in the video description below. If you want to follow me on Instagram or X, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, please go subscribe to Let's Go with Lex and G so that you don't miss out on the rest of the amazing content from our Japan adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's intro. So without further ado, let's get right to it. All right, everyone, here we go with tonight's episode. All right. And we have arrived at the second site on today's three-part expedition. And this structure is the first half of the Oyu Stone Circle Complex. And if I hadn't told you we were in Japan, you might as well have plucked this out of the UK and dropped it into a field. So once again, as with the Komakino Stone Circle that we just visited, this is another artificially leveled plateau. And the exterior perimeter of the structure is here. There's an inner stone circle ring and a pillar, obelisk, or central standing stone.
Can I say?
Sure.
I remember what the melting guy told me.
Yeah.
What we already have is the ash.
Ash.
Volcano ash.
Okay.
So, because I was talking about chalk.
Yes.
When he told me the similarities between Japan and UK.
Yeah.
But the guy said, but in Japan, they don't need the chalk because they have ash.
Ash.
Volcano ash.
Okay. So we'll get into the chemical composition of the volcanic ash as compared to the chalk, because volcanic ash has a tons of other minerals in it.
Yeah.
It's very, very mineral rich.
Yeah.
Where the calcium carbonate chalk really doesn't have anything but calcium in it. But volcanic ash has tons of minerals in it. So it's a very, very rich, fertile material.
Yeah.
So
already, right? I mean, by itself, it can be a fertilizer.
yeah. So I'm not going to reveal too much, because this expedition is going to unravel a global mystery of a civilization
that was creating thunderstorms and harnessing lightning for a variety of applications. And we're just going to take a walk around the perimeter here so you can see the whole structure, the whole site. And as I was explaining with the Kuromanta stone circle, the structure was constructed upon volcanic ash bedrock, the remains of an ancient pyroclastic flow from a volcanic eruption, which is a predominant feature of the bedrock geology here in Japan. And this is just one half of the dual concentric circle stone complex here at Oyu. In a moment, we'll cross the road to examine the larger structure. And this stone circle site is directly connected to Mount Kuromanta, the artificial pyramid mountain that we will be visiting in just a moment. And this is a good vantage point so you can really see the remains of the complex. These stones are quote-unquote river stones, and we'll see if we can determine the exact geology. As we found out at the Kuromanta stone circle, there was no specific geology listed in any of the archaeological data, but at the museum we were able to confirm that those stones were a mixture of andesite and dacite. And I would imagine that this stone circle complex here in Oyu is made of the same type of stone. Looks like woodhenge. Yeah. And it's just staggering the similarities between these structures here in Japan and everything that we were exploring during our 2023 research expedition to the UK and Ireland. And I think I said this already in this public side episode, you got to go check out the members only channel, because we just blew the roof off this whole thing at the Kuromanta Stone Circle Museum, that it revealed the truth of what is really going on with this whole system. Okay, now we're going to cross the road and we'll check out the larger portion of the complex over on this side. I mean, this is basically reminds me of Avebury.
Yeah. Yeah. Except the stones are much smaller.
The stones are much smaller, correct, yes.
Oh yeah, so I got a... Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay. I was
Okay, later. Okay. Yeah, so here's a little diagram. This is the one that we just walked around, and we're walking here into the primary
winter solstice, summer solstice.
Stone circle. Yep.
Yeah. Winter, summer solstice.
And alignments here of the winter and summer solstice.
Yeah, winter and summer. It makes sense, the winter, because that's the beginning of the agriculture season, right?
Yeah.
Once the winter passes.
And here we go. All right, so now on to the function of this structure, which is the exact same as the stone circles across the UK. To concentrate and harness the telluric currents of the earth onto the surface of the ground. The dielectric polarization of the stone materials accumulating a positive charge around the ring, which literally function as a target for negatively charged cloud to ground lightning strikes. As above, so below. Telluric currents coming from below, electric currents discharged from cumulonimbus thunderstorm clouds coming from above. And I can see over here in the distance that there's another structure that looks very similar to Woodhenge, or the sanctuary at Avebury, which is a wooden post circle system. Now, wood is also a dielectric material, and as I hypothesized in Members Only episode 6 regarding the sanctuary of Avebury, the smaller stone circles and wooden structures that are associated with these larger stone circle complexes, specifically in regard to the Avebury Serpent Temple complex, the head end of the serpent being the area of the complex that was intended for human interface, as the positive charges accumulated on the surface of the structure would have attracted negatively charged ions that are also produced and associated with thunderstorms. in addition to the negatively charged ion concentration, I believe it also would have attracted ozone. And unfortunately, we can't get any closer to the structure. I'd love to walk around the center of this thing and get a close-up of these stones, but we got a little bit closer at Komakino. And here is the, well, Woodhenge, for lack of a better term, which is exactly what we had at Woodhenge in the UK. Here's another smaller circle. It looks like there's several smaller circles.
Yeah.
There's one here, one here,
One there.
one over here. And this is saying that this is the remains of a building.
Initially there was 5 pillars. That's why, but they don't know, maybe the one where the 5th one's been set. That's why it was on the ground.
And this is remarkably similar to what we had at the sanctuary at the head end of the Avebury Serpent Temple complex. And if I didn't tell you that we were in Japan, you would think that we're in England or Scotland. So let me run it down one more time, as I don't know if I've thoroughly explained how the stone circle systems work here on the public channel. I know I have gone in depth into the explanation on the members only channel, episode 6, the Avebury Serpent Temple complex. So the telluric currents flowing in the Earth's crust are drawn to the surface by subterranean springs. And as we just saw at Komakino, there's a subterranean spring running below this site. And the plateau is in between 2 rivers. The Oyu stone circle is adjacent to the Oyu River. The stone circle itself is composed of stones that are exceptional dielectric materials. So as the site interfaces with the telluric currents flowing through the Earth's crust, dielectric polarization of the material occurs, creating a positive charge around the surface of the structure. The positive charge accumulation here on the surface of the ground acts as a target to attract negatively charged electrostatic discharge in the form of a lightning bolt. And there's a lot more to be revealed in regard to the justification for building these type of systems. They weren't harnessing the electricity in the sense that we would today. Again, all of these structures and systems work in conjunction with the forces of nature. And there are some very important things that happen during lightning storms. So the next stop on the expedition is Mount Kuromanta, an artificial pyramid-shaped mountain. And we're gonna hike to the top of this thing, the top of which is completely flat, exactly like we saw at Dragon's Mount, Silbury Hill, and the Great Pyramid of Giza, that flat top being intentional. And I'll discuss more about the archaeological discoveries at Mount Kuromanta when we arrive at the site. And these stone circles are all over Japan. The exact same as they are throughout the UK and Ireland. But that's not it. Stone circles, pyramid mountains, passage chamber mounds and passage chamber systems similar to Newgrange and the West Kennet Long Barrow, and mysterious ancient structures known as kofun. So over the next several weeks, we'll be connecting the Egyptian pyramids, the structures of the UK, and now here in Japan. Slowly but surely unraveling the global mystery and a civilization that had the knowledge and capability to build ancient lightning technology infrastructure and structures for the production of chemicals on an industrial scale. All right, so now we're inside the museum, and I wanted to point out a few things that we've been looking for. Okay, so here's the configuration of the main stone circle. And you can see here what looks to be the beginning of a stone avenue. Here. Okay.
He says, after here,
Yes.
there is a layout of stones.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So this is the first one that we explored. It looks like this avenue would have, so into here, yes, that's what I was about to say. So this avenue here, okay, so this avenue would have connected from the first stone circle here into this side of the primary larger stone circle. And this stone circle has approximately 6,000 stones. This one approximately 2,000 stones. And we were able to confirm the geology is primarily dacite and diorite. So again, geology that we have seen abundantly in Egypt, and dacite being particularly interesting, as we have found that dacite container in only one site in Egypt, the Osiris shaft. The dacite container on the second level of the Osiris shaft. And another interesting thing about the configuration of the stone circle system here is that this avenue points out directly to Mount Kuromanta that we'll be visiting here in just a moment. And you can see another avenue here, which, if I'm not mistaken, can he confirm, does this avenue lead in the direction of the wooden circle? This is what we were looking at, like the... Okay. Yes, he said yes. Okay, sorry, that keeps cutting off. We keep having...
It looks more like connecting to this one.
Or into another stone circle.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been looking to see if there's evidence of avenues connecting different areas of these sites, as we see the same thing in Avebury, where it connects into Longstone's Cove, the Adam and Eve stones at the tail end, and then also in the head end of the Serpent Temple complex. So imagine this is Avebury that has avenues leading out of both ends of the system. Connecting into different areas of the Serpent Temple complex. And we were discussing that the stones used at this site are not near as big as the stones at Avebury, for example. However, the concentration of stones is much greater. So again, 6,000 stones were used in the configuration of this stone circle, 2,000 in this one. So instead of bigger stones, they were using a higher concentration of smaller stones. Oh, this is cool display.
They really did a nice job. What's this do?
Press it.
自然環境に大きく依存していた縄文人にとって太陽の動きを知ることは重要なことでした。太陽の位置は夜中の環状列石の日時計上組石の影でも知ることができます。左上をご覧ください。太陽の軌道を表現したモデルを設置しています。これらのランプの間隔は30分ごとの太陽の位置を示しています。の太陽の軌道です。春分の日、太陽は足内山の南側の空から昇り始めます。
And I forget what I've done on the members channel. So let me give you a rundown of the historical significance of this site. So this structure is associated with the Jomon period, which dates from 14,000 BCE to approximately 400 BC. And the Jomon culture is a very peculiar ancient civilization that produced some very unusual pottery and statues, the head of which, one of them you can see here. And there's a whole lot more to be discussed regarding the symbolism of the Jomon figurines that'll be coming up later. Just one thing at a time. And this display series here, again showing the connections between these stone circle sites and the stone circle complex at Stonehenge. All right, and I wanted you to see the approach to Pyramid Mountain right here, Mount Kuromanta, which reminds me very much of the drive from Avebury to Silbury Hill. There it is.
It's less than a kilometer.
Yeah, right down the street from the site. Exactly the same configuration that we have with the Avebury Serpent Temple Complex and Silbury Hill. Another structure that was designed as an ancient cumulonimbus thunderstorm and lightning generator. If you haven't seen that episode, highly recommend go check that out. And we are going to hike to the flattened top of Pyramid Mountain, as there are a number of megaliths at the top of the structure.
It says that sign.
There we go. And some very unusual artifacts that were discovered at the site that I'll discuss here in just a moment. Let's go. All right, so now we are going to begin our ascent of Mount Kuromanta, a structure that is surrounded with ancient mythology and mystery. This mountain is said to be the spot where the deities descended to earth. Again, the flattened top of this Pyramid Mountain is the place where some very unusual artifacts were discovered, including a tetrahedral shaped standing stone upon which an eye and snakes were carved. There was also a GPR scan of this mountain in 1995 that revealed 7 steps, a stepped pyramid in the core of this mountain, indicating that it is an artificial structure. And they also discovered potential evidence of 2 chambers directly below the apex of this structure, one large rectangular chamber and a spherical or circular shaped chamber. So now, here we go into the forest. The hike to the top of Mount Kuromanta, the first pyramid mountain on our expedition across the ancient megalithic functional landscape of Japan. All right. Now that I've kind of caught my breath a little bit, we are at the top of Pyramid Mountain, Mount Kuromanta. And I will say that the top of this thing is very reminiscent of the top of Merlin's Mound. It gives me that same feeling. And you'll see here this little
alien.
So there are very ancient paintings of Mount Kuromanta that show a strange craft emanating light coming from the top of the mountain. And again, as I said, at the base of the hill, this mountain is surrounded in ancient mythology and mystery. Many of those myths being UFO related, all sorts of sightings around this ancient mountain, but also the mythology of this being the landing place of the gods that descended upon the top of Mount Kuromanta. And as I said, they found a tetrahedral shaped standing stone at the top of this mountain. Pyramid shaped, that had an eye carved into it on one side and serpents on the other.
I don't think we can go inside. Is it open?
And as you can see, the surface of this
Very level.
part of the pyramid, and I'm going to continue to call it a pyramid, is completely flattened intentionally, just like the top of Dragon's Mount at the Uffington White Horse Hill, just like the top of Silbury Hill, just like the top of the Great Pyramid, and now here at the top of Mount Kuromanta. And I would love to see the stone and or the bedrock underneath this temple to get a good look at the core bedrock of this pyramid mountain.
See, there's a stone mound here. You can actually see the whole thing underneath. There's a stone piles right down there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's the only part. You see?
Look at that.
Yeah.
There's a big stone pile
Yeah.
here
Wow.
Yeah.
at the core of this temple.
Yeah.
And imagine that being the base of a standing stone or obelisk or pillar at the top of this mountain.
See that trees going quite tall, very tall for the area.
So before we conclude, I'll wrap up with an interesting detail. My friend Teru was just doing some research on some of the local Japanese sites, and he was saying that this shrine or this temple is essentially like a decoy or a cover-up. And before the Edo period or the Edo period, there was originally a stone circle at the top of this mountain. Again, as I was just saying, with that central core of standing stones could have been the housing for the central obelisk or pillar. Apparently that's correct. And that the stone circle at the top of the mountain was destroyed and they constructed the temple in its place. So we are indeed standing at the top of a very ancient and very powerful functional structure. An ancient pyramid mountain that had all of the components to specifically attract, harness, and then distribute electric currents from lightning. And we saw at the diagrams at the museum that there are Stone Avenue connections that link this mountain to the dual concentric circle system at the Oyu complex. Basically exactly what we've been investigating with the stone circles of the UK that are attached into components like Silbury Hill. This is just the beginning.
All right, everyone, that is it for today's video. This was Sunday Site Visit 78 from the Oyu Stone Circles and the Artificial Pyramid, Mount Kuromanta. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and in the next episode in the series, we hike a volcano in search of the mysterious ancient artifact known as a Manasaka Hoko. This is an episode you do not want to miss, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and make sure to click that little notification bell so that you do not miss the new episodes that premiere twice per week. Please like, comment, share, and stay tuned if you want to help support this channel and get access to exclusive research and unreleased footage that you will not see anywhere else. Check out the members only channel and thelandofchem.com if you want to pick up a copy of the book or grab some merch. Links in the video description below. If you want to follow me on X, my handle is @thelandofchem. Also, don't forget, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to Let's Go with Lex and G so that you don't miss out on the rest of the amazing footage from our Japan adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all so much for the support. I think that is it for today's episode. So I will see you next time.
Yo, are you still watching this? Please subscribe to the Land of Chem here on YouTube and click that little notification button. New videos coming out every single week. And check out this other episode. Come on, do it. Do it now.